We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order, start off pledge of allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Janet, do the roll call.
Nelson.
Here.
Reed. Saxon. Smith. Here. Sullivan. Here. Walden.
Here.
Workman.
Here. Okay. Start off with a motion to approve the meeting minutes on February 20th.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Nelson.
Yes.
Reed. Saxon. Smith.
Yes.
Sullivan.
Yes.
Walden.
Yes.
Workman.
Okay, there actually is no public here, so we'll skip over that for now. Let's go ahead and start with, we'll go ahead and start with police, items. Wade, if you wanna go ahead.
Yeah, the one item we were talking about is what's the status of when we want to start moving forward to a squad car. So what kind of time frame are we looking? Do we need to start?
Well, I mean,
We're
it
gonna try
is
to
the
push it
plan.
on 24's budget, which would be
Yeah, I would
after.
start with fiscal year 24. I wouldn't
Yeah.
do it because we really didn't appropriate it.
No, oh, I know that, but
Because well, I'll kind of tell you. I know when we had talked to Darren, and I'll kind of let you all know. One thing we're kind of talking about a little bit with budgets is doing like a one lump sum amount. Because before we had kind of broken everything off. So we're kind of, I think that there's enough through the, through his savings that we can look for a car. But you kind of need to also just, are you kind of like asking like what dollar amount you're kind of thinking?
no, I'm just trying to figure out when we're looking at doing it, so then we can start.
I
putting
would
stuff
say
together.
not until after May.
Gotcha.
That's
Good.
I would start June
Okay. Start
on it.
figuring out what we need.
Say with the time lag, you could probably almost start
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, if you want to,
The
just
whole-
make sure. Well, you just don't want to pay until next fiscal year.
Yeah, the
in
only
my
problem is
opinion.
then stuff changes by the time we get it, so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
so
would
we
say-
wanna wait until we know when we're gonna be okay.
Well, fiscal year starts what, July,
No, May 1st.
May 1st?
Yeah.
You're not gonna get a squad car by May 1st, so.
No,
I'm
and we're
guessing-
probably okay 24, 25 budget, but if we can get an idea, then we can,
Yeah. Bring a couple of samples. If you get, I know you talked about a Charger, a Durango, and an Explorer.
Yeah.
Maybe some different dollar
different
amounts.
options, okay. Alright, the only other thing we were talking about just earlier, the fest is early this year, which is gonna be fine, we don't have any issue. We thought about, and I think we closed the street down in front of the police department. Are we able to do that again, because we have
Yes.
a lot of foot traffic?
We
between-
went ahead and already we did that at the last council meeting. I think did we approve the street closures? I think we just said it the same
Okay.
as everything in years past.
Okay, we wanna make sure we keep that
Oh,
street
yeah,
there
yeah.
closed, that short,
Mhm.
right there right in front, but that's it.
Yes.
Because there is quite a bit of traffic. We've even closed the alley a couple times, but
Mm-hmm.
it just depends. I think we put the barricades in front of both alleys last year, didn't we? So we worked
And
with
we
the
can
fest
do that
committee
as
too.
long as we can easily move them for the fire trucks that
Yes,
are down.
oh yeah, yeah. It kinda depends on how many barricades we have too, but
I mean, we'll bring what we got, you may have to
yeah,
move some around.
we've moved them,
throughout the
yeah,
year.
we've moved them, so.
Yeah, once
That was the
we
only
get
thing, we're
the
just.
carnival set up, we can really move those all around
Yeah.
quite a bit.
Oh, the only other thing too, somebody brought up to my attention is with it being on Memorial Day, we have to have the downtown cleared by 11,
We know,
10 or 11. Okay,
Yes.
awesome.
yeah,
Because somebody found
we're
me the
usually
other day.
always done by noon anyway.
Yep, and the carnival's out that night usually.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. So,
we know at least to have
Um,
that area clean.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
the parking and everything.
Mhm.
So. Yep, I don't think there's anything.
The only thing, I just have a few things to bring up. So we got to start addressing some nuisance garbage places.
Right.
The one off of Second Street, I'm getting
Yep.
constantly. We're gonna send a letter.
Yeah.
I'll have Janet type it up, but we're gonna have to be more proactive, especially with abandoned vehicles too. That's starting up.
Well,
And,
we can, but we have to have the city backing us on when we write these ordinances. These
Well,
people
no,
don't
I agree,
pay.
and I've been
'Cause we've
lenient.
got-
I
we've got
was. Same with the garbage.
ordinances.
I will 100%
Every
agree.
issue.
I've been lenient, but
Yeah.
and the chief is right. We do need to be maybe a little bit tougher.
The problem we run into is the city. It costs the
Well,
city.
see that, that's exactly right. I had this
lot to go
conversation with
get a
somebody. It's
$100
like
fine.
we can,
Yeah.
because they're like, well, can't you, take it to court? It's like, well, we can, but then at the same time, we're blowing all this money on doing it, and then it's like, we've already got like liens on bond,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's like, okay, do we continue to put liens on these other places? And I mean, it's just something to really think about. But no, I get it. It's
Because there's probably 40 or more cars. We have a list.
that's what you would say.
And it's,
I
yeah,
got one
there's
dream of that
easily
many.
40 cars, and we're probably at
Gee whiz.
6 that I know of with trash piled up at their places now.
So what is the
Easily.
process? What are the
So
steps?
what we've done is that I've sent them letters, explaining to them that they have so long to do it, and I'm going to say, 80% of them they do, and they'll reach out to me and say, hey, can you give me an extension? I'm going to get this trash out, and they do. But then there's just some they don't do anything, and I think some of it is on me. I have not enforced it as much as I should have, because I do get the sympathy, it's always a reason for everything, in their minds.
After the
Tony knows
initial
that
letter,
water
then
issue
what
is
happens?
Then if we
Okay, go
write
ahead.
them an ordinance fine,
So they have like 30 days to
Yeah.
to clean up and move the
Yeah.
car or whatever it is.
and then typically if they don't, we get approval, we can issue an ordinance fine, and then we issue it and we put 30 days usually on there, depending on what it is, and then it comes up here, and then if they don't pay, there's no
Can it be
recourse.
changed to where if they don't pay by that 30 days, then they are charged $100 every day?
I mean, we can. I think we have something in there to where we can add the number
Yeah,
to it.
we can
yeah.
add to it. I
But
don't
I
know,
mean-
but it depends on the ordinance too, so
Yeah.
it
I
doesn't
know
have to
you,
be changed.
you brought it
on
up once
some.
before that if they don't pay their fines within a certain amount of days to shut their water off.
Yeah.
Which
It's true.
I know of another community that they did that and it
Uh-huh.
did not go
Oh,
over
I
very
know.
well.
It's it ended up being a big
Yeah.
mess on that one. So
We can tow the vehicles,
yeah.
30 days, and we can tow them. We've done that with several vehicles, and the vehicles do not appear back in town. Well, I don't know why, but
Yeah.
and people will usually comply with the vehicles. The majority do, especially if we send them a letter and we go around and write the warnings and tell them, hey, you have 30 days to get this valid or get the plates on here. And they typically do, but we have several that just they do not care. So, and people don't realize you can call a lot of these tow yards and they will come tow your car for free if you give them the car.
Yeah.
So even if you do not have a title, they'll say, hey, well, you know what, I can't fix this car. It's it's beyond repairable. You can have it, and they sign the title over, and then the tow yards make some money on the side. So there's several businesses that do that. I know. But
Yeah, I would say a trashman probably is the one we need to
We do need to
That would
address
be-
that one. Yeah.
probably
It's gotten
needs
out of
the
hand.
zero tolerance even more
Yeah.
so than cars. Cars aren't going to present a
I'll-
community health issue.
I'll bring this up because we will hear this. That if we go after vehicles, then there are specific places in town that will be brought to our attention that have multiple vehicles. And they may or may not be a business that's not operating as a business. If that makes sense. Because that's what we always hear when we do that. They say, well, why does this person in this area of town have all these vehicles? So I'm just telling you that's what we hear when we do those. But it doesn't deter us. I mean, we can start there too. So I don't know. So just kick that around. That's
No,
because we've heard that. So,
No, I hear it
Yeah.
too, but I thought they were a business.
well, but you can't have these type of vehicles that don't move for years in there. I mean, that would,
Okay.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
So.
It's just like, come on.
I'm just
people.
saying what we
It's like,
hear.
come on.
I'm not trying to
No,
stir anything at all.
No,
But that's
I
what we
get
run
you.
into,
I get
so.
it. I get it. Well, let's just start and go
Start
from
with,
there.
garbage brings in animals. I mean, we have
Yeah.
raccoons and possums.
Yeah, we
and
do need to address that.
Rats
Do we have
and
a
mice and-
specific? Do we have specific addresses that you're supposed to address?
Yeah,
after this?
I mean, I would say you could share it with you guys. We won't share it,
Right.
Yeah.
on
Yeah,
video or anything.
last week you wrote one.
Yes,
'cause we noticed
yes, I
they
did.
had-
Right?
yeah.
Yes, I did do
Yeah,
that. So,
so we-
like I said, I have been writing, and some of them have been good. Some of them, I have even, I have good relationships with some people. I've even texted them and said, "Hey, I'm sending you a letter. please get this straightened up. And like I said, most of them do. Some of them, you know, they give a reason why, and that's like, okay, just as long as it's out by, you know, 2 weeks. And like I said, most of the time that it is. But then there's also others, they give me an excuse. I mean, because the sun came out, no, it's too hot. I said, well, you know, so.
When are
Definitely
the
don't wanna
dumpsters
call
available?
anybody out in the meeting, but.
No, we don't.
I'd
But
like to have some
Garage sales.
follow-up, like if you
Right,
issue
what we
one,
kinda
then
do
you
on
say,
the
okay,
garage
here's the
sales.
Yes.
It's
progression.
usually the following
And
weekend.
kinda keep
but
us
if it's
updated on
Memorial weekend, it'll be the following.
how the
weekend.
process is
The trash
going.
they have piled up, they're not supposed
yeah,
to.
we can do that. And if you guys just get
Yeah,
a
'cause
list.
we've done that so many times, people just
Place
stop
for
by
us,
bring
and like I said, we'll be a lot more proactive.
household garbage,
on
just
it.
clean up,
Just, okay.
Easy enough.
and just one pickup truck full.
That's all that I have in the way of police stuff off the top of my head. So.
On here, we're talking about the radios. Have you guys?
Yep, they're ordered, yep.
You got?
Yep,
okay.
he
Or you
said-
haven't got him yet? You
We
got
just
him?
don't have them. He just called me tonight and said how many batteries? I said 3. He said I got them, so we just have to
Okay.
get with him.
Good deal.
So we'll have 3 batteries, one for each portable radio, and then we'll have a charger that Doug can keep out at the school.
Okay.
So makes
Cool.
sense if he's in there, he can charge it. Yeah. The problem was the radios were not holding a full charge typically for a full shift. So
Alright, good. Alright, let's go ahead and move on to, streets. Darren, you wanna,
Yeah.
your floor.
Running down the air compressor, Greg Butcher stopped by, checked it all out, he got it fixed, it was the, run capacitor was out on it, so that's above. So he replaced it, so that's, got to take care of that, didn't have to get a new one, it's a good deal. Talked to, Hutchins, we're on the list for spring, hopefully, he'll be down to look at the, areas got picked out. MFT, I see I got the paperwork, have you got approval or the other one closed, signed back from the state yet?
No.
Okay. And then on mosquito spray, it's more money than I thought. It's $300 for 5 gallons. He actually had 5 gallons in stock, so I got it. But we need more later on. We'll have to see what we do from there. So
That's fine.
the rocks hauled in. Actually just got the bill and gave it to Angel, so we're good with that. And then on the budget, Derek had called me on that, talking about doing that, the, what do you call it, budget and whole, is that what you were
Well,
talking
I just call it like a lump sum. So one thing, Angel and I, we actually kind of talked about this a while back, and even Darren. So I just kind of wanted his opinion, because you know when we do budgets, we break everything out like so much for sidewalks, so much for roads, rock, you know, so forth. What I was kind of thinking was to make things a little bit easier on Angel's end and even the superintendent and chiefs. If we just put a lump sum, so we typically give streets like 200,000. So let's say we give them now 215,000. Let's just say we just give that to them. Now we can separate that capital outlay, take that part out, so then they can see, so you guys and everybody can see how much is for that. But I just thought maybe it might be a little bit of an easier management. But Darren did, and I mean, it was never my intention to do this, but Darren brought up a good point. We don't want to have this mentality that if you have 200,000 in there, and by the time that, let's say, March comes, he's got, let's say, 100,000 left. We don't want to go out there and say, hey, let's go do new streets, let's go do this and that. We don't want that mentality because we don't want to take that down fully to zero, because in turn that affects the surplus money that we have that we're making in from the revenues. You see what I'm saying on things like that? So that's where I'm saying you want to be cautious. I mean, theoretically, that could already be done already, but we don't do that.
I don't think that's
So-
gonna work though.
You don't think so?
I
Okay.
think we still need the line items in order to keep track of everything, and when they come to audit,
Okay.
they're gonna need to know how much did you spend like on equipment and, you know,
Okay.
I don't think of that, just one line item and you can just throw everything in one bucket, I don't think that's
Okay.
gonna work.
Well, I know we had talked about it on making some things easier.
Yeah.
That was gonna be my question. Would
Yeah.
you still do,
I mean, I
would you
think that's
still
gonna-
do a line item report, like at the end of the year, breaking down how
Well, I
everything was
mean-
spent? I mean, if you're gonna do that, you might as well.
You might as well separate it out then.
Instead of having a
Uh-huh.
budget in all of them, just have,
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I said, if you go back a little bit on that. If you fulfill your whole budget, you're gonna spend, I don't know what it is now, it might be 600,000 of surplus money.
Mm-hmm.
So if you, 2 years, if you fulfill your budget by spending it all, you won't have any money left.
Yeah,
in
that's exactly
surplus.
right. We'll be
So,
broke
yeah.
per se. Yeah.
And we talked back and forth, and I thought more about it. I don't know, Derek. I think maybe the line item it makes you more fiscal responsible. I think too.
No, that's
I think
true.
I kind of like the line
That's true.
items. in
Okay.
it. The more I thought about it, I don't
Yeah.
know. It's up to you guys, but I think I want to know that I spent this and
This was-
miscellaneous and this for rock, and I spent this for repairs on my trucks or stuff. I think I kind of like.
Kind of
When
like
I
that
ask
idea.
Angel how,
Yeah.
if she doesn't track it by line, and I come in there and say, where am I at on repairs? What's
Then we have to pull every
Then
single
you have to pull every
invoice
single voucher.
and find out which
Yeah.
one's just
I kind of
repairs.
think you're gonna have to do, just for the audits and for like clarity's sake, I think you're gonna have to do a line no matter what.
The
It's
same
whether
as
you
we
do
do
it
all
at the
the time.
beginning or the end.
I think I would leave it as is. I mean,
Okay.
if you just, you could do, I guess, just one
That's-
lump
I'm
sum of
fine
the
with
money,
it, I
but
really am.
we're still gonna have to use the line items, so I'm still gonna be using the line items.
Okay.
So
Would be
it's
good.
not going to,
You agree, Rob?
You agree?
Yeah, it makes you more accountable, I think, on this end. I'd rather be accountable than a
Same
lump
mindset.
sum.
Yep. Some. Okay.
Yeah, I think everybody's kind of.
I
That-
think it
that is
should, and plus
perfectly
in that
fine.
way they know how much they can spend like on equipment, or they know how much they can
And that is
spend
true.
on
So you can't hold
certain
them.
things and not go over your budgets
Yeah.
on.
Because I think it'd be a
Like,
lot
you know.
harder to do it at the end to try to. It almost. It's not going to be an issue, but you could
Yeah.
almost see people saying, "Well, how do we know the line is correct at the end that you didn't just justify it?"
Yes.
At least at the beginning, you can say, "We got $50,000 for this." And as the year goes along, we spent $30,000, and people can look at it and go, okay.
And I mean, just like in the street budget, if we go over on a line item, say because of, where we're gonna draw the line on concrete, it goes over, we got 10,000 in the budget, and it goes 11.5, just because that's the place to stop. If I go over 11.5 on that, I usually look for another spot where I cut back. In other words,
Yeah.
my total budget isn't gonna go over, but I will find another spot to throttle back, that way we don't, get up into the other side of it,
Yeah.
yeah.
You're exactly right.
I like that. Okay.
I'm
So,
happy. If you want to have your
However-
budgets ready, we'll talk about them next month.
I'm ready.
Oh.
Got mine. I had her send it to me.
Oh,
4
really?
months ago, yeah.
Oh. If you want to talk about it, we can, or you can
I
just
don't have it
wait.
with me, yeah.
Oh, okay. We'll just wait. We'll just do everybody's together. So we'll work. We'll get you, Gary. We'll work on the administrative stuff. So
Put mine together.
okay.
Thank you.
Darren, anything else you wanted to cover?
No, I think that's about it. I mean, it's,
Derek, did you have anything for Darren?
No, I didn't have no. Streets was quiet this go around this month.
Fair enough. All right. Tanya, you anything you want to cover or anything you need to go over? Mark it is.
Sounds good. So I just want to talk about the Baxmeyer subdivision project a little bit. As you can tell, sanitary is started. That work has moved forward. Just going to talk about it a little bit first before I get into the items that I handed out. The storm sewer, kind of the site earthwork that is began, and waiting on the sanitary to further get up towards the subdivision to really start putting in the storm sewer work to install actually. And then also the water main. So it's been delivered. There is a little holdup with tapping saddles for the service line, so we're trying to figure out schedule-wise what that's going to affect. Just letting you know, I'm trying to keep track of what we're going to do there. But the water mains is in the city, so we're Jack's getting geared up to install the water main in the next couple months. So I do have a pay request for Burdick Plumbing and Heating. That's for the sanitary install. They're roughly 44% complete. They've installed from the manhole just behind the concession stand, and then up towards the west side of the track and field, if you know where that area is. And then they're working their way south. So did have the EPA request for the permit because the permit was received after it was awarded. So I do have a change order, and that is that was a requirement by the EPA permits department. And what it was is they wouldn't allow an internal drop stack inside of a manhole. If you know the concession stand south of there in that area, how poor the soil was, I much rather would have done an internal drop stack. Just I don't want to get into too many plumbing details, but anyways, we had to do an external drop stack, and it actually worked out okay. But we didn't have it figured initially, so yeah, it's $6,332. So that was what the change order amount was. So yeah, the pay request is $139,990.50. You can see the line items there, and then the change order item as well. I just like that for the next agenda for approval. If anybody has any questions or not.
So it looks like you found somebody for rock.
So that's I'm going to talk about that
Okay.
next. So the first item we're just talking about is the pay estimate
that's
for
fine. That's fine.
for Burdick. If you have any questions, I can go into the next item or not. Okay, so then if you remember, put together a little letter here. If you remember, we opened up bids for the roadway and final site grading. We also opened up bids for all the other items, but Division 4, we did not get a bid. There were a number of people interested. They just weren't interested in being a general contractor per se. So over the last couple months, really the last couple weeks, pursued getting some quotes for some preliminary work to get the roadway ready for the concrete curb and gutter, V-gutter, and then also either oil and chip or asphalt. So those two items will be, over 25 grand, so I'll have to, formally bid those out. But I did receive a number of quotes for different items, and so I'll go through those. I'd like to get approval to move forward with them. So first item really for the roadway is stripping the topsoil. I got two quotes, Hupp Excavating, which is out of Harristown area, Decatur area, and then Holt House Buyers did provide a quote. I did contact a number of others that that are working even in the area. It's just too small a project, and they're too busy, so they're not interested. So I'd recommend Holt House Buyers for $8,600. Then after the topsoil is removed, there's some clay that has been delivered from the sewer project, and it's stockpiled. If you've seen the mounds of dirt at the west end of the subdivision, it's sitting there ready. So Hupp Excavating did provide a quote for that to place it and compact it. That was $16,000. And then Holt House Buyers also provided a quote for $3,800, and I did not receive any other interest. I did make a number of phone calls and ask, but Hupp is from Harristown, so he's got to haul his equipment here, whereas Holt House Buyers is much closer. So I'd like approval to hire Holt House Buyers drainage for the roadway subgrade fill and compaction for $3,800. And then purchasing the CA6. So I got a couple quotes. Really just got with them, and they gave us gave them the their rate sheets, and I've got those provided there. But so Charleston Stone is basically $19.50 a ton, and Nokomis Quarry is $11.50 a ton. I'd like to use Nokomis Quarry. You already have an account with them. We can purchase it directly from the quarry. The issue is, I will say that they run out. They are significantly less. So just the timing of getting the rock, everybody else is going to be fighting for it. So we'll see where that goes. But I'd like approval for to get it from Nokomis. And then so placing and spreading this rock, I did receive a couple quotes. There's Hupp Excavating provided a quote, Holt House Buyers provided a quote, and then T&J Excavating, which is out of Mewaqua area. You can see there. So they were $2,224 for placing and spreading the 1,000 tons of CA6. And I'll go over in the next page what I would like to request for approval. And then hauling the 1,000 tons of CA6, I just asked them to give me a quote for 1,000 tons, because after the roadway strip and subgrade's made, I want to get 4 inches of rock put down, so then we can actually have concrete trucks get in there and pour the V gutter and get a nice actually surface that can be drove on a little bit. So that's why I asked for 1,000 tons first. And so Hupp Excavating, Holt House Buyers, Big J Trucking, and Gaither Farms, who I received quotes for, and the Gaither Farms and Holt House Buyers, they gave the same number actually. So what I'd like to, if you flip the next page, kind of have a little summary table there. And you can read, up there. I'll kind of describe what I'd like to look at, doing it. I mentioned the having hold house buyers for the stripping and the compaction, putting the clay in. I'd like to have approval to have 2,000 tons of rock from Nokomis Quarry, so that's roughly $23,000. And then placing and spreading 1,000 tons. They gave us that quote. I'd like to have approval for 2,000 tons. So the first 1,000 tons is spread over 4 inches, just makes a traveling temporary surface so we can get the concrete poured, and then we're still going to need plenty of more rock. So but that's why I've got I'd like to get approval for 2,000 tons, and then hauling the rock. So I'd like to have approval for Gaither Farms to deliver the 1,000 tons. I'd also like to have approval for, in the event that we find that Nokomis is going to have the rock and they're going to need it, they're not going to have very much of it. I'd like to have approval to have multiple trucks, to be able to go get the rock and get it to the site. So like I said, John, the Holt House buyers provided $7.50 per ton, and Big J was $8.50 per ton, hauling the aggregate. So yes, I'd like 2,000 tons for not to exceed $16,000. So that's the items will get us ready for where we can get the concrete curb and gutter, and I'll plan to have bids out for that, and then the asphalt or oil and chip. The oil and chip I'll just get quotes for because it's not going to be a substantial. I have $45,000 here listed, but the oil and chip is going to be, a small dollar amount, and there's going to be more rock that's going to have to be hauled in before the oil and chip is placed. So I would get quotes for that. But I was, and I'd like to, the opinion of the board, if you'd like me to advertise to get bids for asphalt through the subdivision, I think you'd have a much better product, much better subdivision. It is going to be more expensive, but I think in the long run, it'd be better quality. Not up to me, it's not like we have to make the decision right now, but I'd like some thoughts on it. And then I did leave in line a modification of the subgrade, so that would have to be done before the rock. I'm not sure yet if we have to do that. We haven't got up and through excavating that area. Once we get it stripped, the dirt stripped off and compacted, then we'll see if we even have to do that work. But that's where we stand on the project. The last page is kind of just a summary of the budget. That is a little lower than what the last was budget that I prepared, and I even did add a contingency of $30,000. So Burdick has found a couple field tiles as they've been constructing that we weren't aware of, so those have to be repaired. So that's, I've added a contingency for fixing those field tiles. Don't know what that's going to amount to yet, but that's what I have for the getting the roadway ready. That way we can get it where somebody's interested in bidding the concrete work and somebody's interested in bidding the asphalt, or we can get the oil and chip roadway. Waiting on sanitary and water and all those utilities to be installed first before we start.
Could we do bids on? I'm just curious, what the difference in the price of asphalt. I know asphalt will be a lot more, but I'm just curious how much more.
Yeah, I have an estimate there. I think I had 45,000.
Is it triple? Yes.
Yeah. So the initial estimate that I gave you back, whenever we didn't receive, that was, I'll say I got it from an estimate from Dunn. And they skewed the numbers a little bit, in my opinion, anyways. But yes, I would plan to get quotes. I would bid out the asphalt, and then I'd also get quotes for what it costs to put the oil and chip down. So I would have a comparable, better estimate. Okay. I think I'm even high on my oil and chip number. Actually,
yeah.
I think I'm significantly high, but this is a budget, so I want to make sure.
No, I get you.
But yes, I would have numbers for both later on. I just need direction if that's the direction you want me to go. It's prepare a bid for installing an asphalt or oil and chip. I'm going to get an alternate where we could do oil and chip. So
yeah. I think you guys happy with that? I am.
It'd look nicer with asphalt, but yeah, not that much more.
Not that much.
Yeah, but this is just an estimate, so I
Yeah.
prepare a bid, and if you want me to, if not, then we would just do oil and chip, and then maybe in 5 years you can put an asphalt, down. But it's then you have to strip out the rock, and you're spending a lot of money to put it down now, so it's just whatever you'd like to do.
I mean, I get it, but there's something deep down inside me that just says go with the rock and chip.
Okay, oil and chip, yeah,
Yeah. I mean,
that's easier
I mean,
actually for me.
that road going south now is oil and chipped now too, isn't it?
yeah.
Cutting out the old
It
bit.
is.
Well, it has
Or
a
it's not
asphalt. It's substantially. Yeah, it's got. If I remember right, does it have concrete below it, Darren? I think it does. Yeah, yeah. It's got concrete and then asphalt and then oil and chip. But that's because that was a state road. So lots of times you put asphalt down and then 8 years from then you'll oil and chip over the asphalt. In my mind that is probably the best surface you're going to get. You're going to have it'll last a long time. The putting the rock down and oil and chip is the cheapest right now, but it's not going to last. You're gonna get potholes. You have to deal with it.
Yeah. You get that with asphalt too.
Yeah.
Just not as much, I know. Well, and people won't be speeding through a subdivision.
Not right now. There's no way to speed through it.
Yeah.
It'll be a little bit of a drag strip, I guess, once it started.
Yeah.
Yeah, no heavy machinery.
You have
on it either.
machinery, yeah.
It would be dump trucks and or garbage trucks and
Well, not
school buses. Yeah.
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 We'll hold you to that, Ross. Don't be taking your semi or anything.
So yeah, as of right now, then I would like these quoted items, as I've recommended, to be approved on the board, and we'll just keep moving. So sounds fine to me.
Are we keeping a somewhat total expenditure budget on this to see if at some point we no longer are breaking even on this? Because we were within $40,000 of not breaking even on this on the original budgets.
I am going to be. I mean, I'm keeping a budget.
This is not just your part. I mean,
yeah.
just total in general, because a lot of things keep coming back more than the marketing budget, and we keep adding a few thousand here, a few thousand there. The margin is not much to begin with. At some point, we have to be careful we don't end up.
Well, my portion's gone down, so we're.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. 'Cause honestly, we have no. I don't know.
I think Angel,
Yeah,
you're keeping track of all the stuff that we use on the subdivision?
yeah, it's just,
It's a line
Are you
item.
keeping like
yeah, so it'd just be one line item and under TIF and TIF.
well, I'm talking about like an expenditure line or just a budget line?
Expenditure line.
Because I know
All of it'll go under one. Adam's team came over, Chris came over and set it up for us. Kind of like water and the water project.
Yeah.
They're in one, but they're separate. That's the way this is going to be. It's going to be in TIF, but it's going to be separate money and separate line, general ledger part.
Because I know, like with the water, when we have an overall total cost.
Yeah.
so we
But
know
I
it's
won't have like, say, roads is 300,000 and
Water is this.
sewer was
Yeah.
500
I'm
and
not
water's
total.
this. I don't
Yeah.
have separate like that. It's all in one.
But I'll
I
have
think
that.
the
I'll
whole
have that,
one
yeah.
is really, because I guess my thing is we never really said, here's what is budgeted, to do this
Well,
project.
we kind of did through the loan. The loan amount that we got was it. I mean,
What was the final amount on the loan?
I think they ended up approving us all the way up to the full amount,
1.3.
1.3. But our payments are 142,000 roughly,
And
140,000.
when are they due? Because I don't have any information on this, so I got to. I need to
So,
know when I need to
okay.
pay.
So we have to, typically they're due at the end of the year, because this goes into a discussion I'm going to have on TIF. So probably I would say, first payment will be due in March of next year, to be for the fiscal year, and then we have a payment due for the real estate in December. So that's what I'm getting at on the end of the year stuff. what I'm getting at on the whole is that we wanna make sure theoretically, we don't take anything below, 162,000. Because, so if we want to start giving out some TIF stuff like we're gonna talk about, we wanna make sure that we at least have that 160-some thousand, cause like I said, we got 140,000 for the subdivision, and then the land is 22,000. So,
And the reason I'm asking, because
Mhm.
their original initial cost was 600 and some thousand.
Yeah.
And then it came back as 1.2.
yeah,
And it went,
but it's a revolving.
because we're looking 27 before we're gonna see our first penny of tax money. We're up to 27 at this point. It's a long way. That's still,
It'll be here before you know it.
it's 3 years of zero revenue in all costs. There's not a whole lot in that.
That's well, I mean, we'll get our numbers from the county to see, because we also don't have a lot coming into the TIF, because we got the new building from Tell Brothers that's coming in. Salone's has done some expansion, so we'll have that coming in. Typically, like I said, we get around 70,000 in. And I'm going to say that maybe this year we might get, I don't know, let's just say 90,000. And I mean, so long as we're conservative and we watch that, that's why I say we make sure that we always have, at least in the back of our mind, 142,000 so we can make those payments.
Well, because that was one of the things they promised us too, that we were gonna save a percentage of TIF for everybody
Yeah,
else.
for everybody else. No, exactly, because the ambulance is inquiring. So that's where I'm saying.
Anyway, I didn't mean to cut in.
Oh, no, no, no,
This is the first time that
Mhm.
this came up, that's why I was wondering.
Yeah.
So,
That's all I have. I mean, just like a
so
approval
is
for
it
that.
just, so all you need is just these first 5? Is that right, Mark?
I would say there was the 4 items. Let me hold on a minute.
On the second page, there's the summary of quoted items
Yes,
listed.
yeah, there's the 5 items.
So those
yeah.
5, okay. Is that the only one?
Those are the 5, that's it, yeah.
Okay.
And then the pay request that I talked about first, that should be on the
I
agenda.
thought there was nothing.
Yeah.
How much, Angel, how much is in TIF right now?
Oh, I can look at.
It's the what's the pay request?
$139,990.50.
And then these are what, about 3, 4?
$198,036.50.
Say it again, I'm sorry.
$198,036.50.
Yeah, but this payments is not coming out of that TIF line. They're coming out of that revolving loan
Okay.
that we have. So it's not the same line. I mean, if she takes it out of that, then Angel's going to have. If she takes it out of the TIF fund, then she's going to have to reimburse it
Out of
from
the
that
loan.
from the loan part. So
Do we have?
You shouldn't have to
the
take
money?
anything out of the
out of the
TIF
TIF
fund
fund,
now.
yeah.
Okay.
because we got the loan. So what they're gonna do is, as we pay bills, they're gonna put so much into our account to cover the checks. Is that correct, Abby?
Yeah, once you approve them, then they will request from a draw for that amount.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So just add those 6 then.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
we shall.
Anything else, or is that it?
That's it. I do want to talk to Angel real quick if I could, yeah.
Yeah, you can.
That's fine. We still don't have Jack, so.
We don't, but I know Abby's here for
Abby's
parts.
Yep.
Stuff
So-
like that.
It's your floor, Ed.
Okay, I have 2 things. We are gonna go get the benches. Hopefully in April. I have to schedule the program yet, or the pickup. And we'll take the caps, and then they will come back the same day with the benches. We have, we would have enough for 8 benches, and they're approximately $200 to $250, I think, per bench. So that would just be, we need approval for the purchase of the benches from the park. I know that Joan, I talked to her and she was wanting the tan, so that may add a little bit. I don't know if we can get, I didn't get an exact amount yet, because when I called the other day, she, I had to schedule a pickup to get the full cost, and I wanted to make sure that we had the caps all sorted and cleaned before I actually scheduled the pickup, to not lock myself into those. But as far as I know, we maybe have 3 bags left that need cleaned. But we had put off, we were gonna do it on Thursday, and then with the storm, we decided to cancel, so nobody was out in it, and then it only did one thing, so that's, I think we're good there, so hopefully around the 21st, we're gonna go get the benches. I think we're gonna go on a Thursday afternoon, so.
So basically about just approval up to $1,000.
No,
2,000.
2,000, like 2,200, just in case it's over.
Okay, I misunderstood.
Eight benches is what you said, right?
There would be 8 benches.
Between
Okay.
200 and 250.
200, yeah, I
I
would say
follow
200,
you.
I don't know how they'll do that. They might send them to you.
It was.
250.
He got me the mayor, not Oberman.
And I don't know if, I'm assuming she wants all 8 the tan for the park. I know the rest of the town has the red, so that's up to you guys too. So.
Why is she wanting tan?
I don't know.
We don't
I
have
thought
to
we
go
were
with
doing it
tan.
all red and black.
That's just what she wanted, like the tan, when she asked, so.
But, yeah.
I
all
don't
the
care.
ones I have-
I mean, either way, it's an extra $30 for the color versus if it's red or tan.
Maybe I'll leave it to
The original is like
on the
gray,
side, like in another
with
folder,
black,
just in case they
and
don't have
that's
it.
not an extra charge.
So that way I'm not having to dig through.
What do you guys think? I mean, it don't matter to me, really.
That's true, and also have one in my.
The only thing is, if you keep them all the same, then they would be movable.
Yeah.
If you
You're
only
right.
needed 6 at the park, then you could put 2 others, and they wouldn't stick out around
Okay.
town.
I'll email it to you, if I ever get my skinner working
Yeah, I would
correctly, but yeah.
say
I-
keep them all the same.
Yeah. Just the colors.
Perfect.
So we probably need to do 2,500 then, not more than that.
Not to exceed.
Would
Yeah,
that
I don't
cover-
think that. I think that would cover it plenty. So.
And then,
And that way it'll cover the colors as well.
Sounds perfect. then.
yes, then I went through two. and
Cool.
My other thing is, several years ago, ACPA was able to get a grant for the Vista, and they had been running summer rec. The city had previously done it, and I don't know if it was still going or we kind of started it back up once the Vista. We got the grant. The Vista program is now cut completely, so we have no funding for the summer
Summer
rec. So it would be my opinion, or I'm asking to pay the Vista employee for just summer rec. My estimation is she would work 20 hours a week at $14 an hour, and that would be approximately $2,200 for the summer, for 8 weeks of summer rec. In the past, the city has paid for supplies, and the ACPA would be able to cover that amount. So,
That
It would-
come out of parks.
It would, yeah.
Do we have the money in there to cover?
We do. We have quite a bit in there.
yeah. And Alyssa Hunter, I've talked to her previously, and she was willing at that time to continue doing it. She's actually the reason I found out that we didn't have the grant, because I hadn't seen the email yet, and I asked. But she's, I mean, really has done well with.
She did.
And
she
I
did
would
a
hate to
wonderful job
lose the
last year.
momentum that Summer Rec has gotten over the last few years, and she does really well with it. So, which is obviously, if you guys pay for it, then it's your decision on who to hire. But that would be my recommendation of if that was what the council decided. Any questions?
When is summer rec?
It usually runs the 1st of June through the end of July. So,
When would you need the approval to switch it? You need it like by May?
I would say by May, so we can get things planned. And that does give her, I think rec is like 3 hours, and that would give her an hour each day to get stuff ready and get stuff cleaned up within the 20 hours. So,
I mean, we could just make it.
Put it on
You know,
April's.
we can put it on April's, yeah. And get it
yeah, because
approval.
the May council meet. Well, I guess it's the first
First-
of May. So
first
it was
of
that,
May,
yeah, as long
yeah.
as by the May council meeting.
I say
But
go ahead and just approve it in April.
I was gonna say, cause ultimately, it just would've went to finance to put it on. We're gonna do finance in 5 minutes, so.
Yeah.
I mean, Zane, what do you guys think?
Yeah, I think that's great.
Works for
Okay.
us?
perfect. Any other questions about anything? All right, I'm gonna sneak back to the garden.
Alright, well, we still don't have water, so let's go ahead.
I've got some park stuff.
Oh, okay.
Last year when we bought that equipment, there was 2 swings that were purchased. The all-inclusive swing and the generation swing. They were purchased going to be fabricated onto a new frame on the existing swing frame down there. And then we found out after the fact that that would void the warranty. if we did that. So that's why they've not been put up, because insurance and the warranty was being a
Yeah.
whole big deal. So I've got them stored down at the shed, there at the park. So, with that being said, I need to purchase a new swing frame for that, for just those two swings. And it's not a real big set like that one down there. With shipping and everything, it comes to $2,419.75 just for that frame itself. I've got the bearings and we've got the swings already. We've just not been able to use them.
We still have a lot of COVID money still left for parks, I believe.
Okay.
Is there, you wanna give us an update, like anything on
She
the
just
front?
said that there's 40,000 in there.
40,000 in there?
Mhm.
Okay. So, I mean, you wanna, anything with that giant tub that's right there in the beginning, do you know anything
Well,
on that?
whenever they designed that, they didn't realize the sides of, it's an old hand washing station,
Yeah,
were curved. So they made that brick ring to set that hand washing station on to make like a flower pot out of it. But then now if you look at it, there's a gap from the bottom of that hand washing station to the brick because it's curved.
yes.
So we need to find some way just to fill that in, just so water doesn't get in there and freeze and bust the brick and everything out. I mean, we're still gonna use it and plant flowers and stuff in there, we just have to figure out some way to fill that in. And we're also gonna need to start a new wish list, if possible for the park. We're wanting to get about 5 trees.
Yeah.
I'm purchasing one myself, an apple tree, and Joan's Stringers is purchasing another one. The past couple of years, we've lost 2 trees down there, and one of them was the hugest shade tree. So, I mean, right now, we've got 1 tree that kinda shades that equipment in the evening. So it gets hot.
For
Dana, do you
Arbor
have
Day,
prices on the trees?
I do, yeah. Well, they're estimates.
for Arbor Day, would the city qualify to get
Well-
the free trees?
There's certain trees
Yeah.
that she's wanting to do, because some of them are fast growing trees, and, you know, she's got
Yeah.
like some.
She's got the